I just went out on a limb and I did something by some people's standards that might think it's so crazy and so out there and possibly so dangerous, especially maybe at my age. Like, Dr. Dave, why did you even do that? That's crazy.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose U.
Okay, so a disclaimer today is that we're not going to really be talking about magic mushrooms per se in this episode. I mean, I've got a lot to share with you, but microdosing is not one of them. However, I don't go anywhere because what I'm going to be sharing with you today is, I think, possibly more important than learning how to microdose magic mushrooms, because I've been microdosing for almost 4 years now. And like I've told you in previous episodes, the mushrooms are teachers and they've taught me so much. And I want to share my latest teaching, well, what they taught me at least, because I just went out on a limb and I did something by some people's standards that might think it's so crazy and so out there and possibly so dangerous, especially maybe at my age. Like, Dr. Dave, why did you even do that? That's crazy. What, are you trying to kill yourself? And I would argue, well, if I didn't try this, I would never know the answer. What am I talking about? Well, first of all, this whole podcast is about not only feeling better mentally, your mental health, depression, anxiety, all of that, but it's about feeling better all over. Because how many times have I said every single thing is connected? So if we're feeling better mentally, we're feeling better physically. And generally, if we're feeling better physically, vice versa is true. We're feeling better mentally. So what did I do? I just felt like I wasn't really there yet with the way I've been eating. And I felt like, I've always been a healthy eater. At least I thought I was a healthy eater. I was 7 years of my life, not that long ago, I was vegan. So no animal products at all. And even before that, I was, keeping a pretty much low fat diet, not a whole lot of meat, a lot of veggies, a lot of salads, a lot of really healthy stuff. Um, but it just seemed like those diets were not really like working for me. And when I say working for me, I was actually gaining weight. My skin wasn't good. I felt fatigued a lot. I just didn't have the energy I thought I should have had. Getting injured often, just all kinds of crazy things were going on. So I had been uh, reading and researching and watching videos and all kinds of things about what's the best diet, what's the best way to eat if you want to be really healthy and also keep your heart healthy and minimize the risk of heart attack, stroke, minimize the risk of high blood pressure, minimize the risk of diabetes, things like that. What's the best diet? And you know something? Everything kept coming back to heavy meat, heavy fat, carnivore, carnivore this, carnivore that, keto this, keto that. So I'm thinking, should I just try this? Should, I okay, like 4 years of microdosing magic mushrooms, and this is year 4 that I'm in. And remember, I told you that I'm not sure what year 4 was going to teach me, and it's taught me a lot so far. But I wanted to possibly experiment and, if need be, change my diet to the healthiest diet, at least for me, that I could do. So what did I decide to do? I decided to go all in. And I'm not going to call it a carnivore. I'm not going to call it a keto because I don't really measure a whole lot at all. So it's probably not officially anything except Dr. Dave's diet. Every day, I eat at least 3 eggs. I start off in the morning eating 3 eggs for breakfast and a bunch of cheese and a little bit of yogurt, but just I put butter on things too. And that's what I eat every morning. at least 3 eggs. And then during the day, sometimes it could be anywhere from 0 to 2 to 3 more eggs. So I'd say every day, basically, I'm eating anywhere from 3 to 6 eggs. Not no fail, nonstop. I keep doing this 3 to 6 eggs every day. And I've got to buy eggs in big cases now, not just a dozen. That doesn't get me too. It doesn't get me too far. For lunch, I generally have, again, almost always animal product. A typical lunch could be a piece of meat, a piece of turkey, a piece of chicken, a hamburger, but no carbs, no roll, no bun. I always get it lettuce wrapped. No fries, nothing fried, no nothing like that at all. No, and I'm also not eating any simple carbs. I'm not eating any processed foods anymore, especially the the ultra processed foods. They are just a formula for disaster, killers. And then for dinner, I'm also eating a lot of meat. Generally, a bowl of soup and a lot of meat. It could be steak, it could be fish sometimes, it could be chicken, but a lot of meat and generally a salad with that. That's a typical day. So, a few things I found out. Number one, I started feeling better almost right away. And if I didn't say this yet, I'm sorry. This has been going for at least the past 3 months, maybe a little bit longer, but at least the past 3 months. I'm not hungry anymore during the day. I don't snack at all. Guess what? After my dinner, I don't snack at night. I feel full and I feel like I don't have to keep eating stuff because typically when we eat more stuff, it turns out to be junk. I don't deviate. I used to eat a pretty good amount of sushi. I love sushi, and typically sushi is a roll or nigiri with a lot of rice. I stopped eating that. I stopped eating rice. If I eat rice at all, it's a minimal amount. I'd say almost none. I'm cutting out almost all carbs. Now, I do eat for dinner sometimes a really nice sweet potato with some butter on it. But other than that, I'm just not eating. There's no junk food, no dessert, no cookies, no crackers, nothing like that whatsoever. And I try to be pretty darn strict about that. I try to drink a decent amount of water every day. And I also try to drink sometime around mid to late afternoon. I take a bunch of psyllium husk fiber as well with a bunch of water. But I've just been piling on the meat and piling on the butter. When I go out to a restaurant for breakfast, I typically will tell them I want a special order. I'm going to order 3 eggs. It could be an omelet, it could be scrambled, but I said 3 eggs and then a side order of some type of meat. I don't like to eat a lot of bacon because it is processed, but if they have like a little piece of steak available or even like a little burger or something like that, I'd rather get that over bacon, but I will eat bacon. But I think I painted the picture pretty well. A ton of meat every day, nonstop. Now, a few things. How have I felt since then? I would say I've been feeling really, really good. I'm not tired. It's rare that I have to take a nap in the middle of the day anymore. I feel like I have a lot more energy. I feel like my joints feel better. If you've been following me for some time, I've talked to you about arthritis and my osteoarthritis and some injuries. And although now I'm dealing with a little bit of plantar fasciitis, but I'm not going to credit or discredit any kind of diet for that. That's just something that happens. But it just seems like I feel a lot better, both mentally and physically. Remember, everything is connected. And when we're inflamed, when we're eating a diet that is an inflammatory diet, we're more prone to having mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. That's not up for debate. That is true. If you're inflamed, there's a better chance you're going to be having mental health issues. So I've been feeling a lot better. I feel like I've got a lot more energy than usual. And as I said, I don't feel like I just need to snack all day long and just eat junk. I don't need to do that anymore. But the true test was yesterday. I was scared. I had an appointment with my doctor and I had my blood drawn a week or two earlier. And because I want to check my cholesterol and my lipids and my triglycerides and everything because being at my age, I'm very in tune to heart disease. I don't want to get heart disease, and I don't want to have any kind of problem with that, with heart attack or stroke. So here I am eating a ton of meat and butter and fat. I'm just pouring it on. And most people would say, well, that's crazy. That is unhealthy. What are you doing? But I just have to find out. So yesterday was the infamous day, and I didn't say anything to my doctor. I didn't say, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm eating all meat now." I didn't say anything. I just went in. She had the results in her hand, and we started to share. And the first page we looked at was my lipid panel, which is generally, the cholesterol and everything that goes along with cholesterol. But the very first thing was actually inflammation. And there were two tests for inflammation: the myeloperoxidase, which was very good, very, very normal. And that's kind of a heart specific inflammatory marker. The other one, which I've always had a little bit of a problem with, is HSCRP. It stands for high sensitivity C reactive protein. And that's an inflammatory marker, but it could be if you have a cold, if you have the flu, if you have arthritis, you've got an injury, that's going to show up there. So mine was a little bit on the high side, just 2.8, which is a little bit higher than I'd like to see. But forgetting about that one, just throwing that one out, I wanted to share with you. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a glance of this. Here is my lipid panel: cholesterol, high HDL, LDL, triglycerides. I'll read a few of them off to you. This is probably the best lipid panel I've ever had in my life. Now, don't get me wrong. My cholesterol's always been pretty good. My lipids have always been pretty good. However, there have been a few things we've been watching, particle size, and there's a lot that goes along with this. But I will share this with you. My total cholesterol, 120. I think that's really ideal, 120. In the past, it's been 100, but lower cholesterol is not necessarily a good thing. You can be too low also. So I think 120 is like a pretty optimal number. My HDL, triglycerides, they're all like in perfect range. LDL cholesterol. Now, there's something very interesting here. There's something called the triglyceride HDL ratio. So what you do is you get your total your triglycerides, which in my case here, they are 46. And then you divide your HDL number into that. Now, they say that if the ratio comes out to be 3 or above, you're pretty high risk for heart disease. If it's below 2, then that's pretty optimal. And below 1 is like you're going to live forever. So just to let you know, in the past, mine has been about 1.2, which is, I think nobody would argue that's pretty darn good, 1.2. But remember, I said if you ever get it below 1, that is like the absolute optimal. Well, guess what? Yesterday, my number came in at 0.8, best I've ever had in my life. And this is after 3 months, 3 months plus of eating nothing but meat, butter, fat, you name it, animal products, with some salads, of course, some yogurt, some probiotics, things like that, but very, very meat and fat heavy for sure. But again, no processed foods, no ultra processed, nothing like that. Or I keep processed foods to an absolute minimum. But if I'm going into a restaurant and they say, well, fries can come with your main course, I'll say, no, I'll take a salad instead. I will not eat fries. I will not eat anything fried or anything like that. I could keep going. I can get really geeky on you, but suffice to say, all these numbers were absolutely phenomenal. My doctor even said to me, she said, Dave, this is the best I've ever seen. And not only that, but when we start looking through pages of this is a very, very complete physical. My BMI, my percent body fat, all these things like that have gotten so much better. She said she's never seen an improvement like this over this short time. And then I laid it on to her. Then I said, well, doctor, I've got to share something with you, and don't get upset with me. I'm eating a lot of animal products. And she didn't really say anything much. She said that can cause some inflammation, but I'm not really listening because um, my blood sugar is also very good. And I don't know if you know this or not, but having blood sugar issues as well as insulin resistance. Remember, I say everything's connected. Those are some of the most important indicators for future coronary artery disease. When you've got too much sugar, or you've got insulin resistance or anything like that, that's going to cause inflammation and soft plaque in your arteries. Now, I know this is a podcast that's supposed to be on microdosing. I know that, and we're not talking microdosing today. However, I want you to live long. I want you to live healthy. I want you to feel good every single day, mentally and physically. And if there's something here I can share with you that I'm doing that can totally, in my opinion, and remember, it's not medical advice, I'm my own guinea pig, but if this can totally transform your life, then why not share? Why would I ever want to keep this a secret? So I am really, really happy with the way things are going, and I'm not stopping. And I know for a while my wife was worried. She didn't say anything really, but when she's having one of her healthy dinners and she sees that I put like a, I don't know, like a 12-ounce steak on the grill, and I'm eating that and a little bit of a sweet potato and some salad, and I do this almost every night, I'm sure she was getting concerned that, oh, my husband is going to be dying of heart disease soon because he's eating fatty meat every night. Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope, if anything, this reverses, you heard me right, reverses heart disease. I'm hoping that's the case. Look, I'm not going to tell you here that I'm going to live forever. Nobody's living forever. I'm not even going to tell you that I'm going to live for the next 5 years. I mean, I sure hope I do, and odds are with me that I will, but there's no guarantee in anything we do. There's absolutely no guarantee. So if I said to you, eat this diet that I'm eating and you're going to live forever, or you're going to live for, many, 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 many more years, that's just, we don't know. We don't know. However, I am keeping track of everything. I get a really, really good physical every year and keep close track of every single thing in my body. And if I ever see anything that's little all for askew, I'll do whatever it takes to fix it. Now, I'm not going to bore you and go through this entire, it's just like, I don't know, this physical is like at least 12 pages long. I'm not going to bore you with that, but everything in it was optimal, was really, really good. So how could my doctor, when she saw physical like this, there's no way she could say your diet's not working, because it is working. It certainly is working, and I feel great. Now, again, I've been living long enough to know that things go in cycles, and you can't predict 100% that this is going to make me feel good forever. I mean, I might be doing a show 6 months from now and say I'm in a little bit of a slump. That does happen. But for the most part, what I'm seeing with this, I am really, really optimistic that this could be the perfect way to eat for me. I'm no longer afraid of butter, of fat, of red meat, of a lot of meat, a lot of animal products, eating 3 to 6 eggs every day. I'm not afraid of that because my blood work just bears out that it's working for me really well. Now, if I got this back and my cholesterol was super high and my triglycerides were high and my LDL and all that was super high and all, then that would be a different story. I would certainly share that with you and reevaluate. But it is, I mean, when you see all this green, I'm showing this on people on YouTube, when you see all this green and no yellow or red, it's phenomenal. I am so happy about this. So I wanted to share this with you. By the way, if you like what you're hearing, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel here. Don't miss anything. That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. Go into the show notes. Check out what we have to offer. Website is microdoseu.com. It's microdose with the letter U on the end, microdoseu.com. A lot of resources there. Offer one-on-one help if that's something that you like as well. And remember, I've got a brand new episode that comes out every Wednesday and Friday. So you don't want to miss anything. We've got a lot of good stuff going on here at Microdose U for sure. Just making you feel better every single day of your life from now on. That's what we all want to do. My name is Dr. Dave. I love you. And recently, I just did an episode on 50 life lessons. You don't want to miss that one. It's a great one. So go ahead and click right there. If you're listening to this instead of video, just check the show notes. I'll have a link there for you.